Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the big trip that's coming up, what I'm packing, what I'm planning to make, and how I'm bringing you all along with me. So stay tuned. Hey there, Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and oh my gosh, we did it! We hit 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! You told some friends and they told someone and so on and so on and so on. And we did it. And it's all thanks to you. So I just wanted to come on today on my little podcast. And for those of you that just subscribed, oh my gosh, welcome. I am so happy you're here. And you're here just in time because we are about to embark on an 7-week trip. And I'm bringing all of you all along with me, well, virtually. We leave next Sunday, we being me and the Brit, for those of you that are new that don't know. I am married to a Brit. We actually have another channel called Travels with Beauty and the Brit. I'll include a link down here below because we're going to be putting a lot of information on both channels. Anytime we do any kind of travels, we do a little video of like where we are and kind of what's going on. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. That channel just started, so give us a little bit of grace, but go ahead and like it and subscribe over there. It's going to be a little different content than over here. But let me tell you where we're going. So next Sunday, we leave on a cruise. We love cruising out of San Pedro Harbor, which is in Long Beach. And we are embarking on a cruise ship for 27 days. 27 days! That's 19 days at sea. And then, 8 days? That we're going to be off with excursions. But we are going to go from Long Beach all the way to Sydney, Australia. What? This is huge. Now, we do love to cruise. We have done many, many, many cruises. We've had our fair share of cruises. We've never done anything this long. The longest we ever did was, I think, like 15 days. So this is going to be a little bit of a stretch. But we love cruising. We love sea days. And so we're pretty sure that we're going to be able to manage this one just fine. So we're all leaving out of San Pedro Harbor. We're going to go over to Hawaii. We're spending 1 day in Hawaii. We're supposed to spend 2 days. We're supposed to go to Honolulu, and then we were going to go to Maui. And that's really a shame because I'd love to go to support Maui right now and help them out. But unfortunately, it's out of my control. So instead of spending a second day in Maui, we are spending 1 extra day at sea, but we're sailing over to Tahiti. And we were supposed to have 2 days in Tahiti. Now we're going to have 3 days in Tahiti. 2 days in Tahiti and 1 day in Moorea, which is the island where they filmed South Pacific. And actually, that was kind of one of my bucket list places. We were actually going to take a shuttle, like a shuttle boat from Tahiti over to Moorea for one of the days we were going to be there. Now we don't have to. So now we get 1 day in Moorea and then 2 days in Tahiti. We love snorkeling. We're both certified scuba divers, but I feel a little bit more comfortable, safer snorkeling. Plus, pretty much everything that I want to see, all the pretty colorful fish, are like right there within, a 5-foot, 6-foot depth. So it's pretty easy. I haven't really snorkeled in the South Pacific or in the Pacific waters. We've pretty much only done like the Caribbean. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to be different. Anyway, so from there, we leave Tahiti. We go and spend 1 day in American Samoa. And there's about, 4 to 5 days of sea days in between. So from from San Pedro to Hawaii, it's about 4 or 5 days sea days. And then from Hawaii over to Tahiti, I think there's another 4 or 5 days of sea days. Then we go to American Samoa. Then I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 sea days. Then we're spending 3 days in New Zealand. Oh my goodness. I'm very excited about this. We are both excited. We both actually have been wanting to go to New Zealand for a really long time. So this is just going to be kind of like, dipping our toes in the water just to see how much we're actually going to love it. But then we'll actually go back and just fly over to New Zealand and then do a big trip between the 2 islands in New Zealand. But we're going to spend 3 nights, 3 different spots in New Zealand. And then from there, there's like 1 or 2 days at sea. And then we sail into Sydney Harbor. And I'm bringing all of you with me. I'm going to be doing tutorials. I'm going to be doing my podcasts, all of it from one of the various decks on the ship. So if you've never been on a ship before, is in a cruise ship, comment below. Tell me if you have. and what your experience was, what your favorite parts are, what you think the not miss parts are. And if you haven't been on a cruise ship before, comment below and let me know some of the stuff you'd like to see, because I will take you all for a tour. I'll show you all of the pools and the bars and all kinds of stuff. I'll even show you our room. We have a balcony room, so we get to look out over the ocean. So we're sailing on a ship called the Majestic, and it's one of the older ships. We actually have been on this ship before. We sailed out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and we went up into Alaska. So this ship, during the summertime on the West Coast, does like Alaska, and during the summer months in Alaska, and then basically in the fall it sails over to the southern hemisphere. I think that's right. And then it does all of the tours through Australia and like Fiji and New Zealand and that kind of stuff when it's the warmer months, and then because it's too cold to be in Alaska, and then it flips around. So that's pretty much what this ship does. So we're going to catch both ends of it. So we're really, really excited. And then we're going to land in Sydney, Australia on around about early November 4th, I believe it is. And then we're spending 3 weeks in Australia, because you can't just turn around and sail home. I do have a really, really dear friend of mine who lives in Australia. So we're going to see her for a couple of days. We're going to go to Sydney. We're going to go to Adelaide. We're going to go to Perth. And to the Rottenest Island. I can't wait to show you those guys, the little quokkas. These little guys are so stinking cute, and apparently there's this huge internet craze where you can do selfies with them. Even though they're wild animals, there's about 10,000 of them that reside on this one little tiny island that's about, I think it's like 5 miles long by 3 miles across or something like that. It's not a very big island, but we're going to spend one night on the island. We're going to commune with the quokkas. And then after that, we're going to fly, because Australia is a massively large continent. It's a continent and country. And we're going to fly up to the Great Barrier Reef, up kind of at the tippy top south of Tasmania. And we're going to spend about 5 days there, and we're going to go snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef. We're going to go to the rainforests, and we're just going to commune with all kinds of interesting nature, and hopefully none of the scary bugs, snakes, alligators, creepy crawlies that do happen to reside in Australia as well. And then from there, we're going to fly from the Great Barrier Reef, and we're going to go down to Brisbane, spend about 3 or 4 days in Brisbane, the Gold Coast, and then we fly home. So we are going to be back stateside on Thanksgiving Day. So we're going to be gone from like early October all the way through to Thanksgiving, but we're bringing you all with. At least I am. So I'm really interested to know what you want to see, like I said, if you've been on cruise ships before, comment below and let me know like what your favorite thing was, what ships you've been on, if you have certain cruise lines that you like to cruise with. And again, if you've never been on a cruise ship, then definitely comment and let me know what you want to see, and I'll take you there. This is exciting. Okay, so packing. Because we're going to be doing a lot of flights, I really try to want to keep things really condensed, because some people just go bananas when they go on a cruise ship. They just pack for really, and we're going to be on the ship for 27, well, technically 26 days, because we lose a day when we cross the international date line, which kind of sucks. We lose a Saturday. We go from a Friday to a Sunday. We cross the date line, and it just like goes whoop, like it just disappears as if it goes into the Bermuda Triangle, which of course it doesn't, because that's in a completely different place. But we lose a day. Poopy. Unfortunately, that's the case. We do get the day back when we're traveling back to the United States. So kind of on the way back, you're like, woohoo, you get an extra day. But I lose a day of my vacation. Anyways, so I've packed up all of my stuff, all of my clothes, because I have to pack some stuff for the ship, because sometimes, you have your formal nights. And then you have to pack your swim fins, your snorkels, your bathing suits, your mask, and all of that kind of stuff. And then, some regular touristing clothes. So what are you going to wear? And we're going to be in a lot of different climates, traveling from the fall, where we're here in the Pacific, over to like late spring, early summer. So I'm kind of all over the place. Like, what do I pack? I did my initial packing. It's a little heavy, so I got to have the Brit come and kind of reorganize or Tetris it out and kind of figure out what goes where, but that part's done. The other big thing that I have been working on is, what am I going to bring with me to crochet and or knit on the trip, because we're going to have a lot of days at sea. And a lot of you have already commented, because I've been mentioning this trip, talking about it for the last month or so, saying, ooh, make sure you bring a lot of yarn. So I'm going to show you now what I am bringing with me. And I have been going back and forth, like this project, but then not this project. So here's my yarn bag. It's kind of big. Don't tell the print. It's going to shrink down, because as you make stuff, it's going to, you know, compress. So the bag isn't going to be as big when I get back. It's probably going to weigh the same. It's got the same amount of volume. It's just going to be distributed differently. All right. So first thing, just because it's at the top, is when I was on the road trip, which you guys were there with me, and we did the electric road trip all from San Diego up into Seattle and back down, you know, I went to all the different yarn stores. Well, I went into Webster's, which was in Ashland, Oregon. If you guys recall, I bought this really pretty yarn. It's called Nighttime Sunflowers, I think, or something like that. It kind of reminded me of Van Gogh. And I thought, this is really pretty. And then I happened to find this in my stash. Look how pretty those two go together. Isn't that nice? Really liked that. Not a lot of space, but I figured, you know, I'm going to be coming back into the fall, because we're coming back on Thanksgiving. And so I'm going to make this. It's called the Dottie Cowl. So this pattern actually uses a Malabrigo yarn in sock weight, which this is pretty close enough, and it's a cowl. It should be really, really, really simple, and it's crochet. So I thought it's what a great two-tone, because it's really gonna pack these two guys together. So this is gonna be yellow, and then this color is gonna come through. So I love it when a plan comes together, don't you? Same weight, already spun. And I'm really, really, and they're both super soft, so I think it's going to be a great cowl, but literally they're the same weight. I think it's probably like maybe a 4. I think it's probably, I'm looking at a 4, and I think it's probably a 4. This one here that I bought is it's from a company called Mosaic Moon, and I remember they were specifically out of Ashland, Oregon, and it's all hand dyed. This color is called Night of the Sunflowers. And content-wise, it is 85% merino and 15% silk, 248 yards. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's so, so soft. I think it's going to make a beautiful cowl. And again, bringing in this color here, isn't that just going to be so lovely? And I just put this together last night. I've been sitting there and watching TV, but my mind's going over here like, yarn, outfits, get rid of this yarn, bring in this yarn, take it, get rid of this outfit, bring in this outfit. Like, I sleep, eat, drink, and everything getting ready for this trip. So anyways, this is one of my projects. It should not take long at all. It's just a real easy cowl here. And it's going to be a series of V stitches that you can see here. This is a variegated, and then that yellow, that gold is going to pop through. I think it's going to be gorge. Really, really, really gorge. So it calls for 2 skeins. I actually think, this is absolutely perfect. And even if I don't have the exact amount of yarn, that's fine, because it's a cowl, so it's either going to be shorter, it's going to be longer, it's going to be perfect. But this is just a series of V stitches and a spike stitch, which is so much fun, because I was actually going to do a tutorial on the spike stitch, because it's such a simple stitch, but it makes such a dramatic impact, and it's perfect when you want to try to highlight 2 colors like this. So it's actually going to be 2-sided, so I'm excited. So this guy here is one of my projects. Got my hooks, I'm ready to go. Okay, Have Hook Will Travel. That could be a great name for a YouTube channel. Ooh, okay, hold that thought. All right, the next one, and I have been talking to you guys about this project for a really long time, is, let me find my book. I was able to pack a book, too. This book here, I've been talking about this book for a really long time, well, since I got it, a month ago. Love this book. So I'm going to be making an Afghan for my stepdaughter and her fiance, and I'm going to make it for Christmas. The reason I chose to make this particular pattern is because I'm actually doing this yellow and gray one, because it's done in panels. So they're going to be like laying out really flat. And basically what you do is you just pick out whatever design that you want in whatever colors you want. You can mix and match. So they have the actual pattern. See, like there's all these different mix and match ideas in here. Okay. Oops. But they already have this one pretty much done. So I'm going to pretty much follow this one because she asked for gray. She didn't really ask for a lot of yellow. I do know she has some yellow in her house, so I might kind of switch some of these out for some grays and make them like lighter, darker grays and a little bit less yellow. But that's predominantly what I'm following along with. But here you can actually end up mixing up some colors, different things like that. So I'm going to be working on this blanket, and it's great because I could like sit by the pool someday, bring out one skein and make a bunch of different panels out of this color. And then the next day I could come out and make a bunch of different panels out of this color. These yarns, by the way, I just got, and I just did a video on them, Schitt's Creek yarn. And let me tell you, I am working with this yarn. I'm making another Afghan for my son, one of those big clapper boards that they use in the movies because he works in film. And so I'm using the black. I love how it is crocheting up or knitting up or whatever. It's not pilling, but it's giving this really nice kind of a dense but really soft. Doesn't feel light. This is a weight of a 4, so it's perfect for Afghans or even a nice, like a casual sweater, but I'm really, really liking it. So I'm going to take these 4 skeins, and they're all Schitt's Creek. This is called Fold the Butter, or Fold the Cheese. Fold the cheese. It looks like butter. Fold in the cheese. This one is called something about Hydro Diamonds, I think it is. This is called Finding David, and I believe this one is called Johnny's Suit Gray. So these are the colors that I'm making this blanket in, and I'm excited. But like I said, all I like to do is bring out one color, make a bunch of different panels, and then that's going to be done for the day. So I'm bringing those 4 skeins to make that blanket. And you're going to see how I go through all of that. Okay. I really do hope. See, the nice thing about it is you get on the cruise ship, they don't care what kind of weight you bring on. People are just bringing on all kinds of stuff. But when you fly home on the plane, actually, I'll be fine with that. It's flying throughout the country of Australia and the weight limits. That is where I'm running into my problems. We'll see. Okay, so that's my next project. Got my little crochet, my set of crochet hooks, and yes, I have a lot of different crochet hooks. I still swear by this particular set. I'm bringing all these hooks just because you never know. I've got my little darning needle in here, my scissors. I'm going to bring a tape measure. I have it somewhere. I'm going to bring a tape measure along with me. So it's just nice because it's all like wrapped up. So I'm going to go out to the pool, and I'm going to be bringing, something like this. And then the next day, I'm going to bring another color. All right. Lastly, this is a little bit of my challenge project, but I've been planning it, and I'm really excited, and I think I've talked about this. It's called the Float Scarf. Can you guys see that? So basically what this is this is a series, kind of a gray color, and then intermixed within the yarn is these different pops of pink and white. Now this technique is called assigned pooling. We have all different kinds. We have variegated yarns. This would be a variegated yarn. Okay, so there's really no pooling, if you will. It's just the colors are all modeled throughout. And then we have what they call assigned pooling. Now it looks similar, but when this was not in the cake form, when it was in the hank form, it had big blocks of yellow in it. This yarn I got from a place called Purple Lamb Fiber, and I have been drooling and jonesing over this yarn and over this project for so long. And so I've been waiting to take it on this trip specifically. So I have 3 skeins of this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. This is the, let me pull out one of the little cards inside. Here we go. This is probably a good one to grab. Okay. So this guy here, this yarn is from Purple Lamb Fibers, okay? They are out of Texas. I think it was Austin, Texas. Love this lady. So, so, so sweet. And this is called Van Gogh's Starry Night. Now, I have talked about Van Gogh before. I did a video on this. I'm a huge, huge fan of Van Gogh. And so this shawl, it's called the Float. But when I make it with this yarn, it looks like his Starry Night painting. It's going to have these, you can look really close. It's going to have the blues and the greens running through different shades of it. There's some dark blue, but if you also look closely, see how it's got a little bit of sparkle in there? I got the sparkle. They had some that didn't have the sparkles, and I got some with the sparkles because I thought it's going to look just like a Starry Night. It's going to have the stars. I've got a little tangle going on here. What's going on? Okay. And it's going to have these little pops of yellow, and it's going to be, in my mind, absolutely magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I'm just so excited. I have a little knot here. Let me just see if I can pull this little guy out. I'll do it later. Okay, so this guy. So what you do with this particular pattern is, now I know some of you don't knit. There might be a few of you that do. I'm definitely more of a crocheter than I am a knitter, but the channel is called Knit for Brains. I started out as knitting, as a self-taught knitter, and then I discovered crochet probably 7 years ago, and I really didn't look back. The thing that gets me a little bit about knitting is that it can just take a really, really long time to get anything done. But what do I have but time on the ship? So what you do with this particular pattern, and this yarn was specifically designed, this yarn was dyed specifically with this pattern in mind. Okay, so I saw this yarn in the finished product of this. So the yarn designer was inspired by this and then created this yarn, if that makes sense. So it's just basically a knit and purl straight across, okay? But when you get to the yellow of the pooling, which for me is going to be yellow, right? Then you do this kind of a star stitch, and you do a bunch of like knits, yarn over, knit, yarn over, knit, yarn over, and then you pull everything through, and you make this, like, it looks like a star or a flower, okay? And then if you can see that, it's going to have this really pretty, like, floating, this could almost be like floating lilies. And so once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty much straightforward. And then there's a little bit of a ribbing at the bottom of the scarf. So it's more like a really, not scarf, it's more like a really long shawl. So this is another one of my projects. And depending on my whim, I will probably be bringing out, I'll be bringing out this project every day, and then one of the crochet projects. So I can do both. And then, of course, laying by the pool, and maybe doing a little bit of like eating, but not a lot, because you could go bananas on a cruise ship, and I do not want to go on a cruise ship and come back weighing 20 pounds. I would very much like to come back weighing the same or even less, because we're going to be doing a lot of snorkeling, a lot of walking, a lot of different things like that. So I have my 3 skeins of this guy along with my pattern, right? And then I've got 4 skeins of this guy along with my pattern. And then I just discovered this one last night, and I have my 2 skeins of there. I don't know which I spent more time, well, actually, no. I can tell you for sure what I spent more time on when I was planning for this trip, and it was most definitely the yarn that I was going to be bringing with me. 100%. 100%. That's what I spent more time thinking about. I got this bag from Furls, which I just loved. It's really nice and big, so it's going to hold all my projects. I'm going to just tuck right inside there. Comment below, by the way, when you go on road trips. I'm assuming since you watch this channel, you're probably kind of a knitter and a, crazy person like I am about these things. So how much yarn do you bring? What kind of projects do you bring? What's your MO with that? I also have this cute little bag that I got. It's from Namaste. And it's got my, I got a little notebook in here. And a little bit of lip balm, because sometimes, you need it. And then it's just got some extra little stitch markers, needles, and stuff like that. Not that I really need it, because I got in other places, but, you just never know. And then the needles that I am bringing, and I really only need to bring 1 set. However, and I think this pattern calls for, you can do straight needles, but I'm a little bit nervous about bringing like really long straight needles, and so I'm actually going to do it on a needle interchangeable set. And this is my Mindful collection by, I think it's by Knit Picks. No, is that right? It's Knit Picks that did it. And I just love this set. So it has all the different size needles in here. The one that I need is this guy right here. But I'm just going to keep them all together. I think these are on another project somewhere. And then this set also comes with, in here, it's got all of your interchangeable cables. It's got your little sizer in here. It's got the yarn stoppers, which are really helpful because Lord have mercy, if the stitches start flying off of the hooks, this girl starts going a little crazy and everybody's like, oh my God, what's wrong with that woman? So we don't want that to happen. It also comes with some really nice stitch markers. So really, I don't need much more than what's just in here. It's a beautiful, beautiful set. And then inside here, it's got some stitch markers, all different sizes, some end caps. Everything you need is really right in here. So this is my knitting set here, trying to keep everything condensed and efficient. And I have to show you all. I saw these the other day at Hobby Lobby. And you know, I went into Hobby Lobby, I had some time to kill, and I'm a little embarrassed to say I could not find any yarn that I liked that I actually wanted to bring home. I mean, maybe that's a good thing. My husband was not upset, but I was like, what is wrong with me? Do I have a fever or something? Like, how could I walk in a yarn store and not want to come out with some yarn? But I guess I just figured I had enough yarn. Hang on, where's my little guys? Here we go. I saw these, but I did see these, and I thought they were absolutely adorable. They're little stitch holders for your knitting needles. So you put these on the ends of your needles, so when you're done, your yarn doesn't go flying off, your stitches don't come flying off. Aren't they freaking cute? It's a little gnome and a little mushroom. It was like $3 or something, $2.79 for these guys. Just, they make me happy. They made me very happy. So they are coming with me. They're coming in a little packet just like that. Boom. Oops. Because you can never have too many stitch markers or too many point covers. All right. So that's it. I've shown you everything. This is what I have packed and unpacked and packed and unpacked projects and yarn getting ready for this trip, and I have now honed it in, and this is what I'm bringing right here. So you're going to have to stay tuned because I'm going to be doing at least 2 videos a week. That is my goal. We're bringing along our laptops, so I'll be able to do some internet. Hopefully I'll be able to take you along with me when we do the quokkas, when we do all that fun stuff in Sydney. But, you know, there's be some days when I'm on the ship and hanging out by the pool, and there's an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. So I'll be doing all of that kind of great stuff and, you know, seeing what you're doing too. So please comment below because a lot of stuff's going to be coming up. But like I said, is there anything that you want to see on the ship? Anything that you've done? Any of your experiences? The projects that I've picked out? If you have any comments, so just let me know what's going on. And again, we did it. Thank you so much for telling your friends about us. We've hit 1,000. We're past 1,000 subscribers, and the numbers keep growing. So thanks so much for watching. I love that you guys are here. We're having so much fun together. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. Don't forget to make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you get all the notifications, especially as I'm traveling through. Because of the time zone, I'm not going to be able to give you specific times as to when I'm going to be posting because it might be the middle of the night for you. It could be, you know, the middle of the day for you. I don't know what it's going to be, but just know that I'll be posting at least twice a week for the next 7 weeks. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains, and as always, I'll see you soon.